Well, good evening, everybody. It is great to see you. My name is Andy Martieri. For those of you who I have not met, Headmaster Kinkaid, thank you to many family and friends we have here tonight on this special night. I'd like to first start off by congratulating the parents and family members on your family's accomplishment this evening, so please join me in congratulating the parents and family members. And students, congratulations. It really is a significant accomplishment. We can't take it away from you now. You've made it, Cum Laude. And it's really something that you can carry with you the rest of your lives, both in your academic and professional and personal careers. I was chuckling a little bit to myself today because when Mrs. Miller invited those who had made Cum Laude to stand, I stood. But I almost didn't get a chance to stand because of my poor grades in high school in physics, chemistry, and biology. My mother was a college counselor, and she kept telling me, Andy, take science classes. And, it's good for you for college preparation. And my grades kept getting lower and lower in them. So when I was informed I made Cum Laude, I said, really? But I think I was the 20th percent of the 20%. So really, congratulations. I mean, as I said today, you have worked hard for years. Your classmates are very bright and accomplished, and the fact that you made the top 20% really is something special and something to cherish. We have several speakers this evening. John Peterson was selected by the other Cum Laude recipients to speak, so please join me in thanking John for speaking tonight. He's going to speak later. And we are also honored to hear from Patricia McMahon, who is Claire McCarthy's mom, and she will speak to us after dinner. So thank you very much, Patricia, for agreeing to speak this evening. Thank you very much. Before we begin dinner, I would love you to join me in thanking someone special in our community who is retiring after more than 20 years here at Kinkaid. Mr. Felipe Castro is here to my right. Felipe, come on out. Please join me in congratulating Felipe. Felipe spends most of his time right here in the Cast Performing Arts Center, and he's going to enjoy a very well-deserved retirement. And those of you who are involved with Chorus Line know that the cast and crew of Chorus Line dedicated the show to Mr. Castro. It's a great way to go out. So congratulations, Felipe. Thank you very much for all you've done for the school. So please enjoy your salad, and Mr. Vishak will come back up in about 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Tonight we have the pleasure of hearing two speakers. First, we will have a parent speaker who's been selected by the chapter. Tonight's speaker is Miss Patricia McMahon. Miss McMahon is an award-winning author and poet. Her 14 books run the gamut from fiction to nonfiction. Her writing has been called powerful and provocative, as well as delightfully foolish. And her work has been recognized by the Smithsonian Institute and IBI, the International Board on Books for Young People, and she's won several state awards. She's particularly proud of being a finalist for the Georgia Peach Award. A graduate of the Center for the Study of Children's Literature, she is a past president of the Foundation of Children's Books. Her book, Just Add One Chinese Sister, was co-written with Connor Clark McCarthy, Kinkaid class of 2006, and told the story of Claire Guan Yu McCarthy, class of Kinkaid 2015. It is this that leads to her most outstanding qualification to be our speaker tonight, the fact that she is the parent of Claire McCarthy. Please help me give a warm welcome to Miss McMahon.
Classes first. Thank you for applauding me before I say a word, but I must tell you that I was lucky enough to be raised by my grandmother, with my grandmother, not by, an immigrant from Ireland, and we often together would watch what she called the New York Philharmonic on the television, and I remember her crossing her arms and as the conductor walked out to applause and say, "Why don't we wait and see if he's any good before we start the clapping?" So she would be glad indeed that I had this great chance to speak to you tonight, but she would have no truck with the clapping before I said anything. I'm so very surprised and pleased when Patrick Loge asked me if I would be willing to speak to you tonight. I would say honored, but that's a word I want to hold on to for a minute. And that is because I am so very proud to be that myself and my family are members of the Kinkaid community. I love this school, and I'm not crawling when I say that. I'll translate crawling. Crawling is a wonderful word I learned in Belfast, Northern Ireland when I worked on my book, One Belfast Boy. Crawling is the act of ingratiating yourself to someone for a hoped-for result. I learned this when I spent a lot of time in a boys' school there, and there was one young lad who every day when I came to school, he would sneak up and put a peppermint in my pocket, and he was accused of crawling. I assure you I'm not crawling. I have been lucky enough to be for a number of years to be a member of the unique community that is Kinkaid, a community of faculty and staff and administration and teachers and students and, yes, parents. And I'm very lucky that I count friends among all of that category. So it is in my capacity as a representative of the parents of Kinkaid that I congratulate you most heartily for your selection as members of the Cum Laude Society. I'm not used to I move my head and my hands a lot, so the mic's going to have to catch up. There's nothing I can do about that. As we heard today, the motto of the Cum Laude Society is honor, justice, and excellence. It is a given among those of us in this room that the teaching at Kinkaid is extraordinary, as in remarkable, outstanding, and memorable. And again, I'm not crawling when I say that, though. I do have some peppermints up here for any teachers in the room. But as we're here to celebrate the seniors, what I would like to acknowledge and salute you for is for having honored your contract with these teachers. It's so simple a statement, but worth remembering. Teachers teach for the pleasure of sharing what they know and so that students can learn. I have the feeling that Kate Lambert could make a room full of filing cabinets and mourn the death of Hamlet, but a teacher wants a student who wishes to learn. So I give you kudos for holding up your end of the bargain. I'm going to jump over justice for just one moment and land on that third word of the motto, excellence. You are here tonight and we salute you for your excellence in your work, your very, very hard work. High school is sometimes not so much fun. And I think you think as parents we don't understand how hard you've been working. But we do know. We see it, and we're impressed. And it is not a joke, but I think it's worth noting that you have pulled off this achievement while going through adolescence, which is not a joke. You may not know this, but adolescence is derived from the Indo-European word meaning the discovery that you no longer know how to live in your body and everything seems to be hard and no one understands, and the best way to cope is to slam doors and yell at someone because it must be their fault. They knew something about words, the ancient Indo-Europeans. It has not been easy, but it has been worth it. For whether you are glad of it or not this particular month, you have had an extraordinary education. Many people would be jealous. I know that I am. And as someone who is deeply in love with learning, I would like to make just a few suggestions, just a few, honestly, as you depart this community for your next step. 1, I suggest you follow Steve Jobs' advice. I think we can reach consensus in this room that he did okay. This is a quote. Keep it a little weird. Do not attempt to program your life with the right courses, the right this and the right that. It never works out exactly as you planned, and you miss out on the surprises. Take something in college just for the hell of it, preferably in philosophy, something outside your area, a course that piques your mind. This is especially in freshman year. This is what college is for. I promise you can do this even though you have an enormous amount of requirements for your degree and you have to get mechanics of engineering in this term. But my mechanical engineering aerospace husband, who now works on large international construction projects, when people ask him what he do, I says, Lego. He does Legos. Will tell you that the best course he took in university, the one that shaped him, the one that has stayed with him, was a course on the French philosopher Teilhard de Chardin and the writer Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who is well known for writing The Little Prince, which you may recognize is not about engineering, though he had a rocket and a volcano and a sheep. If you haven't read The Little Prince, take a pen out right now, and on the back of that nice program write, read The Little Prince. You should say the name in French, but Ms. Murdoch is still getting over my pronunciation of Teilhard de Chardin, so I'm not going to do it. Yo hablo español. The point is, you cannot know what will stir you, move you, restore your faith in something. It is not prescribable. You must discover. 2, only a few, I promise. I think it a good idea to adopt the belief of a man whose picture I have over my desk. And he said, quote, I believe in intuition and inspiration. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited by all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the world. This was not spoken by an artist, a writer, or a street poet. That was Albert Einstein. Because all great scientists have been, in a certain sense, great artists. The man or the woman with no imagination may collect facts, but they cannot make great discoveries. These risks, inspirations, and detours will help you to become a more educated person, which will make you better at whatever that job is that you're going to do, and it will make you a better citizen of the world. Watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are hidden in the most unlikely places. 4, I would like to suggest, no, that was 3. I did not do maths, Mr. Fisher. I would like to suggest, strongly suggest, that you not assume because someone has not had the education you have had at Kinkaid, or the education you are about to get at some very fine, nay, storied institutions, that they are not as intelligent or as interesting or as worthy of your time as your compatriots. I'd like to just give you 2 small personal examples. At the end of our street, there is a really wonderful little school. It's a great place where Claire and her brother Connor went to elementary school. It's a diverse place. There are 12 languages spoken in the homes of students in that school. And one August, a family from Somalia arrived with a number of children, and it felt like the dust of the desert was still on their clothing. They had escaped with their lives and not much more except memories of a horror that we couldn't understand. And this was 3 weeks before they started school. What an education they were to all of us in undaunted courage and resilience. I was in awe of how they put one foot in front of the other every day. And one day, I was walking my dogs, as one does, and I ran into a neighbor by the school, the one I like to avoid. Every neighborhood has one of those. But she wanted to talk. How's Claire settling those conversations? And she wanted to complain about her daily commute to her daughter's school. It was killing her. And I kind of waved over my shoulder at this school that we had there. And she said, oh no, and I'm afraid I have to quote her, she could not send her daughter to school with the children of maids and gardeners. 2 words went through my mind then, not those 2. Grandmother and father. For my beloved Irish grandmother, when she came to this country, found work as an upstairs maid. She always said she wasn't good enough to be a downstairs maid, so genetics may explain the state of my office. This person did not want her child sitting next to someone like Claire's grandfather, who went to school at age 10, went to work at age 10, selling newspapers on a street corner, yelling the titles out, just like in the movies. And at an age when I fretted beyond belief that my Kinkaid graduate could not go away to college because he had not yet learned the concept that clothing goes in a drawer. At that age, my father was on a troop ship that landed him in Europe and at the Battle of the Bulge. He finished college when he had 3 children and a full-time job, and he finished his working life as the chief financial officer of a corporation. Who wouldn't want to sit next to that kid? Do not miss out in your life on chance to know men and women like this. You may have to cast your net wide, but it's worth it. I have one more suggestion. It's a wish, really. I'm afraid, Mr. Lotion, Dr. Materi, but I'm going to use the F word. My apologies, everybody. Stay calm. But my wish is that all of you in the room who are truly feminists, there, I said it, will begin to say so with pride, male and female. For it is a simple word. I'm quoting the Oxford English Dictionary here. Someone who believes in the equality of the sexes. It's that simple. It was never intended to always have radical in front of it, and it never was supposed to have Nazi after it. I'm going to quote that well-known philosopher, Aziz Ansari, who many of you know as a stand-up comedian, or more importantly, the strangely named Thomas Haverford from Parks and Rec. This is a quote. If you believe men and women have equal rights, then you have to say you're a feminist. That's how words work. You can't say I'm a doctor who primarily treats diseases of the skin, and then when someone says, oh, you're a dermatologist, say, oh, no, let's not go there. That's way too aggressive a phrase. That's not how words work. So if you believe that men and women are entitled to equal rights, and I'm betting you cum laudes do, then you should use a word that describes it. And when you vote for the first time, and you will exercise your right to vote, put it under little prints on your list. I will vote when I have the right. I'd like at least the girls, if not the boys as well, to remember that women chained themselves to the White House fence, and they were jailed, and they were brutalized, and they were force-fed, and some of them died so that you could vote. They did it for you. They called themselves feminists. And I would like to go back for just one moment before I wrap up to that second word, justice. And I want to address it in quite a specific way that affects our world today, everyone in it. I'm just going to quote you some numbers. I'm going to do some math now, statistics. 66 million girls of school age are out of school globally. There are 33 million more boys in primary school than girls worldwide. School is not free in over 50 countries. If a family has insufficient funds to educate their children, they educate the boys. In many countries, there is a concerted effort to prevent girls from going to school. Malala was not a random hit. She was targeted because of her advocacy of school. Acid is thrown at girls in Afghanistan as they walk to school. We all know about Boko Haram. They take girls because they dare to go to school. This is not a woman's issue. This is an issue of justice for our very small planet. Terrorism is one of the greatest challenges you will face in your life, and its roots grow deep in the soil of poverty and ignorance. It is an accepted economic fact. If you want to improve the lives of those living in poverty, educate women and give them their jobs. This is from the Council of Economic Advisors and the report from the Secretary General of the United Nations. It's not Ms. Magazine. If India enrolled 1% more girls in secondary school, their GDP would rise by 5.5 billion rupees. A child born to a literate mother is 50% more likely to live to age 5. How can there be justice in this very small world when this happens every day. I'm hoping some of you will do something about it. Because remember, what affects one directly affects everyone indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are able to be what you ought to be. Martin Luther King. Ooh, if you haven't seen Selma, put that on the list. Go see Selma. Okay, I think that's all my suggestions. Not really. Let's be honest. Every parent in this room has a very long list of the last things that they need to tell you before they leave you at college. We may drive away quietly, sobbing softly, but we really want the window open and we want to be out to our waist saying, one more thing. You may think it's because we don't trust you, but that's not so, though it does appear that. We're worried. We're very worried that you will be all right. We have tried, done our best, since the day you came into our lives to make sure that you were safe and sound and fed and educated and loved and loved. We want to keep doing this more than anything, all the while knowing that we cannot, and all the while knowing that, in fact, we do not want to. Our great desire is for you to set sail. We understand a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. So I would like to say to all of you that your parents are so very proud of you. I know it. I would like to say to my daughter, Claire Guanyu Gannon McCarthy, a courageous immigrant, I think you're simply wonderful. So as we stand here on the shore, softly sobbing, we wish you bon voyage. I pray for you that, like Odysseus, you get blown off course and that your journey is long. Don't worry about the dragons. Slay one or two. Stay a little weird. Laugh out loud. And if you will allow me, because of the week this was, and maybe even a few parents or teachers might join me in my last salute to you, but I would like to say, live long and prosper. Thank you very much for your time.
Except you took my remarks, so I'm going to have to get those back. Thank you, Ms. McMahon, for your thoughtful remarks. Now we'll hear from our student speaker. Traditionally, the new Cum Laude members elect one initiate to speak on their behalf, and I'm thrilled and impressed by the choice that the seniors have made. Typically, I would make his introduction by using comments from past report cards to highlight his strengths and achievements, to share the things that his teachers noted and loved about working with him. But as I read through those comments, it was impossible for me to select just 2 or 3, because each comment was terrific and better than the last. So instead, I invoked Dr. Waldman's words from this morning. He mentioned luck, but he spoke of it from your point of view, the point of view of the student. I think I speak for all the teachers in the room when I say, John, it was my good fortune to work with you last year. Really, you embody so much of what all the Cum Laude seniors here tonight bring to our classrooms in some way. Talent, effort, love of learning, care for others. As I noted, I think it's awesome that you've been chosen to represent your peers and be given some time to share some remarks. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to tonight's student speaker, John Peterson.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm tearing up after that. So, thank you all. Goodness, sorry, my heart's beating really fast right now. It's a little unreal for me, but I have to say with honesty, some of the greatest people I've met, they're in this room right now. And it means a lot to me, all the members of Cum Laude, that, you're my friends and that you picked me to speak. Yeah, that means a lot. So I know I can't possibly speak to represent you. I know no one can do that. You guys are way too, diverse and amazing to do that. So I just want to speak about you because I think that'd be more fun anyway. So I kind of know what I don't want to say. I don't want to say a lot of, advice everyone's heard before. I'd rather leave it to the adults to tell you what to do when you get older. I think they know better than I do. So I'd say I think the best way to celebrate this moment would be to celebrate with not only yourselves, but with others. Because, as I said, you guys are really incredible people. Parents, I've seen these guys the past 4, even 7 years. Some people in the first entrance exam. And I know, and I can tell you it's true, that they're amazing. I've seen them dance, I've read their writing, I've heard them sing. They play music, they swim, they study, and they study a lot. I know that. They work their tails off every day, and they're all incredible at what they do, and I want to give them a hand for that. That's my life. So, like I said, this moment is best celebrated with each other. So what better way than to do that than maybe embarrassing you in front of everyone, just potentially. Now some of you thinking, JP, I never talked to you. I mean, what are you going to say about me? And you're right. So that's why I got a few friends to help me, specifically your friends. Now, I know some of you probably figured out, I've been doing a project on the side for this, because like I chose it for this, I figured this would be kind of crazy. I said, what I did was I sent a ton of seniors out to a lot of seniors in our grade. And I asked them to tell me, quote, the traits they admired most about 2 people who were their friends, at least 2 I guessed. And those people just happened to be all of you guys. So I managed to get 2 a person. I got about 41 responses about all the members. And I'll tell you, I read those letters, and I really, they'd make anyone's heart melt. It's just, I hope you guys know how much your friends care about you and really respect you as people. So as I speak, I want you to take my words as half mine and half of your friends who clearly care a lot about you. Also, I'll be specifying the Emily's by their last names as well, because there's like 4 of them here. Okay, seriously. Okay. I'll start with the only 3 girls in AP Physics, Emily Ashworth and the Bell Twins. Emily, your friends and I agree you're a very hard worker, doing equally well in creative writing as well as physics. As for the Bell Twins, I'm sorry I grouped you together, but it's only because you are the best team I have ever met. Really. Seeing you fly through a physics lab every Thursday is amazing. Okay, I know Eric and I always thought our labs were pretty good. That was like, until we saw yours doing it, it was amazing. If I had to think of another great team, I'd say it's our multivariable class. And I know that name, you might be thinking, wow, that sounds like a ton of nerds. But I feel anything but in there, even though I'm probably the most of all of them. I couldn't imagine it without Nick, Neil, Reese, and Matthew taking the edge off all the time, or Horatio reaching out to me from literally across the room. Your friends and I both, as I said, they admire your friendliness and humor. But I also couldn't imagine it without Ashley putting in her thoughts, or Lauren or Caroline knowing a clever way to do a problem that I never would have thought of. As I said, all your friends and I admire your care and happy outlook on life. That's what they said. It always impressed me that the girls in that class, by the way, along with Rita and I, had just come from French 5. I think it's a testament to how diverse and interesting all these members are. For example, 2 of the best French students I know, Emily Grinstead and Madeline, are also in the dance company, and trust me, they do really well. Along with Claire and Emily Short, they're some of the best dancers I've seen. I know that to be the case. And what's more, along with Grant, Natalie, Montana, and Horatio, they all just performed the last musical, which was literally yesterday, and the 2 days before that, or Thursday and Friday. And as everyone knows who saw it, it was amazing. But it's neat that I thought these people, the people I just mentioned, they don't isolate themselves in their work, and I know no one here does. Here's some of the words people use to describe them. Compassionate, aware, personable, empathetic, funny, and incredibly kind and sweet. I even see these people, all of you guys, day to day, and they're building these, I know they're building these really great friendships, and I see them really being there for each other. You know, I'll see Phoebe, Emily, Paul, and Emily Short studying at the end of the hallway, having these, you know, really witty conversations. Or maybe Jenny, Rachel, and Ashley about to go to SOC. Or maybe Carol and Stephanie and Harriet and Nina telling me ironic yet kind things in the library. It's just really nice to see that, you know, we're all friends here, and I have to admit that makes me a lot less nervous about giving the speech when I realize that. As for Amy, Montana, and Will, based on everyone else here, I know you guys are awesome people too. Your friends told me about how funny you were, how friendly you are to others, and how kind you are. I hope you all never lose those traits. Not only are they, you know, the important ones that to those that you care about and that care about you, they will make you who you are and will make you really amazing people. Of course, we all owe part of our success to our friends, but there's a huge group of people here who also had a lot to do with it. No, your parents. I know they may embarrass you sometimes, but if they weren't there for your support and encouragement, I know literally none of us would be here. But I also want to thank another reason we're all here, obviously the teachers. They work so hard every day for all of us, and I know a lot of them have changed my life in a lot of ways. I personally want to thank all the teachers who've helped me right now, but there's so many, I feel like a brief mention really wouldn't do them justice. So I figured I want to challenge myself, and I'll extend this challenge to you guys as well, to thank your teachers individually. You know, stop by the tutorial or whenever you see them. I know every time I've done that in the past, I've never regretted it, and I think it would mean a lot both to you and to them. So by thanking you guys, the Cum Laude members, for letting me speak. It was an honor. Thank you guys.
Thank you for your comments, John. Let's thank both of our speakers one more time. It's been a lovely evening. I have one more reminder. A group picture will be taken immediately following the program. If you did miss the family photos you came in, be sure to have one taken immediately after the group shot. On behalf of the members of Cum Laude, congratulations to the new members and their families. Thanks for coming, and have a good night.